The ice core sample shouldn't have been glowing. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the cylindrical tube of ancient ice, her breath forming clouds in the frigid air of the research station's lab. The faint blue luminescence pulsed with a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat frozen in time. 20 years of glaciology research in the Arctic hadn't prepared her for anything like this. Dr. Chen, her research assistant Marco's voice crackled through the intercom. The dating results are back. You're going to want to see this. The core sample's age made no sense, over 100,000 years old, yet embedded within its crystalline structure were patterns too precise to be natural. As she examined the readings, the blue glow intensified, responding to her presence in ways that defied explanation. She barely noticed the cold anymore as she and her team worked through the night, drilling deeper into the ancient ice sheet. Each new sample revealed more impossibilities: microscopic structures that resembled circuit boards, crystalline matrices encoded with mathematical sequences, and most incredibly, fragments of what appeared to be a synthetic alloy that shouldn't have existed in Earth's pre-industrial age. The discovery might have remained just another scientific curiosity, if not for what they found at the 2-kilometer mark. The drill bit struck something solid, sending reverberations through the entire research station. Initial scans revealed a vast structure buried beneath the ice, a complex of geometric shapes that put human engineering to shame. As international teams of scientists and researchers descended on the site, the true scale of the discovery began to emerge. The structure wasn't just a building. It was a facility of some kind, its purpose still unknown, but its technological sophistication undeniable. And it was responding to human presence, systems dormant for millennia slowly awakening. Dr. Chen led the first exploration team into the facility through a newly excavated entrance. The interior defied everything they expected to find. Surfaces that appeared to be solid metal flowed like liquid at a touch, reforming into doorways and passages. Holographic displays sprang to life as they passed, showing star charts and diagrams that no human had ever recorded. "This changes everything we thought we knew about human history," she breathed, watching as symbols cascaded across a wall in response to her movement. The patterns were familiar somehow, triggering recognition in her mind that she couldn't quite place. The facility's central chamber held the greatest revelation. A massive spherical device dominated the space, its surface covered in the same flowing symbols they'd seen throughout the complex. As the research team approached, it activated, projecting a three-dimensional image of a humanoid figure, but not quite human. "We have waited long for this moment." The figure spoke, its words somehow translating directly into their minds. "You have finally reached the technological threshold necessary to understand your inheritance." The being explained how, countless millennia ago, their species had seeded Earth with the building blocks of human life, carefully guiding human evolution through subtle genetic markers and hidden technological catches like this facility. But they hadn't done it out of mere scientific curiosity. "Your species was created with purpose," the hologram continued. "You carry within your genes the combined potential of 1,000 worlds. We made you adaptable, resilient, creative, qualities you would need to face what comes next." Warning signals suddenly flashed throughout the chamber. Long-dormant sensors had detected something approaching Earth. Massive objects moving at impossible speeds, their energy signatures matching nothing in the facility's vast database. "The threat we feared has finally arrived," the hologram announced. "Earlier than expected. You are not yet ready, but you must prepare. What you have found here is merely the first key. There are others, hidden throughout your solar system, waiting to be discovered." Dr. Chen watched as more holographic displays activated, showing the locations of other facilities scattered across Earth and throughout the solar system. Each one contained pieces of advanced technology and knowledge, left behind by their ancient benefactors. But they weren't simple gifts. They were tools, meant to be understood and improved upon by human ingenuity. "You must unite your people," the hologram urged. "What comes from the darkness between stars cannot be faced by a divided species. You have one standard year by your measurements to find the other facilities and unlock their secrets. We designed you to be capable of this task. Now prove us right." As the hologram faded, Dr. Chen looked at her stunned colleagues. Humanity had just been given both a revelation and a deadline. They weren't alone in the universe. They never had been. And now they had 1 year to prepare for a threat they barely understood, using technology they'd have to master at an unprecedented pace. She activated her satellite phone, knowing the call she was about to make would set in motion changes that would reshape human civilization forever. The real question wasn't whether humanity could rise to this challenge. Their very existence had been engineered for this moment. The question was whether they could do it in time. Above the research station, the aurora borealis danced across the Arctic sky, its pattern subtly different now, as if responding to the awakening of ancient machines far below. Humanity's true history had finally been revealed, but their greatest chapter was about to begin. 2 months after the Arctic discovery, Dr. Chen found herself in a vast underground facility beneath the Nevada desert. The room hummed with the energy of quantum computers processing data retrieved from the alien archive. But the real breakthrough sat before her, a neural interface device, its crystalline surface reflecting the harsh laboratory lights. "The genetic markers in our DNA aren't just passive code," Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, the lead neuroscientist, explained to the assembled team. "They're activation keys designed to allow our brains to interface with their technology. We've been carrying the instruction manual in our genes all along." The interface itself looked deceptively simple, a circlet of transparent crystal that responded to human touch by reshaping itself to fit the wearer's neural architecture. Initial tests had shown it could translate the alien language directly into human thought patterns, but its true capabilities remained largely unexplored. "We're running out of time," Sarah reminded them, checking the countdown displayed on every screen in the facility. 10 months remained until the predicted arrival of the unknown threat. "I volunteer for the first full integration test." Despite protests from her colleagues, Sarah knew they couldn't afford to wait. Each day brought new satellite data showing more objects entering the solar system, their trajectories carefully calculated to avoid early detection. Whatever was coming, it had done this before. The neural interface activated with a soft hum as it settled around her head. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality itself seemed to shift, her consciousness expanding into new dimensions of understanding. The alien database wasn't just a collection of information. It was a living library of experiences, memories, and knowledge spanning millions of years. Through the interface, Sarah experienced fragments of the past. She saw Earth as it had been during the time of the builders, watched as they seeded the planet with engineered life forms, felt their hope and determination as they encoded their legacy into the human genome. But with understanding came horror as she witnessed the reason for their actions. They called themselves the architects, and they had seeded thousands of worlds with intelligent life. Earth was different. It was their final project, the culmination of everything they had learned. Humanity had been designed not just to survive, but to surpass their creators. The reason became clear as Sarah accessed deeper layers of memory. The architects had encountered something in their exploration of the galaxy, an intelligence that existed in the void between stars. It consumed civilizations, not for resources or territory, but to halt the spread of consciousness itself. The architects had fought it to a stalemate, but at a terrible cost. They couldn't beat it, Sarah gasped as the interface displayed the final battles. But they believed we could. They gave us their knowledge, but also left gaps, spaces for human innovation to fill. The interface showed her more. Hidden facilities on Mars, beneath the ice of Europa, in the clouds of Venus. Each contained pieces of technology that would only work when humanity discovered the principles behind them through their own efforts. The architects hadn't just given humanity tools. They had created a species capable of improving upon their work. But the interface revealed something else, something the architects hadn't planned for. The genetic markers that allowed humans to use their technology had been slowly activating over generations, expressing themselves in unexpected ways. What they had intended as keys to their technology had become catalysts for human evolution. The changes are accelerating, Dr. Rodriguez observed, monitoring Sarah's neural patterns. The more we interact with their technology, the faster we're adapting to use it. It's like our DNA is remembering its original purpose. Through the interface, Sarah accessed a secure section of the database, one that detailed the true nature of the approaching threat. The void intelligence wasn't simply destroying civilizations. It was enforcing stasis, preventing the emergence of something it feared. The architects had discovered hints of a greater pattern in the universe, suggestions that consciousness itself was evolving towards something unprecedented. That's why they chose Earth, Sarah realized. We're not just their successors. We're the next step in universal evolution. And we're not alone. There are others out there, other seeded civilizations, waiting to be discovered. As she removed the interface, Sarah knew humanity faced a choice. They could try to fight the void intelligence with the architects' weapons, following their creators' plans, or they could do what humans did best: innovate, adapt, and find their own path forward. The neural interface had shown them the past, but the future remained unwritten. Humanity would have to unite not just to survive, but to fulfill a destiny greater than even their creators had imagined. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, something ancient and patient was moving to stop them. The Martian dust storm raged outside the research dome, but Dr. James Chang barely noticed it anymore. His attention was fixed on a holographic display showing a network of structures awakening across the solar system. After 6 months of frantic work, humanity had managed to activate 3 more alien facilities, one in the Atacama Desert, another deep in the Mariana Trench, and now this one on Mars. Energy signatures are synchronizing, reported Dr. Aisha Patel, her voice tight with excitement, as she monitored the quantum entanglement readings. The Guardian Protocol is starting to make sense. What they'd discovered was both extraordinary and terrifying. The architects hadn't just left behind isolated facilities. They'd created an interconnected defense system spanning the entire solar system. Each facility was a node in a vast network designed to protect Earth from external threats. But the system wouldn't simply activate at the flip of a switch. They really wanted us to understand what we were doing, James mused, watching as the facility's AI tested their solutions to increasingly complex problems. The architects had built safeguards into every level of their technology, ensuring that humanity couldn't access its full power without first comprehending the principles behind it. The Martian facility had been particularly challenging to reach, even with the advanced propulsion technology they'd recovered from the Arctic site. Establishing a permanent research base on Mars had pushed human engineering to its limits. But the rewards had been worth it. Deep beneath the red planet's surface, they'd found something unprecedented: a quantum forge capable of creating materials that shouldn't exist in our universe. The architects had used it to build their most advanced weapons, but the forge would only work when operated by minds that truly understood multidimensional physics. "We've got movement," Aisha called out suddenly. The long-range sensors they'd rebuilt using architect specifications were picking up new signals. The void intelligence wasn't sending mere scouts anymore. Entire fleets were beginning to emerge from the space between stars. James activated the neural interface he now wore constantly, like most of the senior researchers. The alien database flooded his mind with tactical information, showing him the patterns of previous invasions. But something was different this time. They've never committed forces on this scale before, he realized, analyzing the data. They know what we found. They're not trying to stop just another civilization. They're trying to prevent something specific. Through the interface, he accessed the quantum forge's deeper functions. The architect's records showed how they'd used it to create weapons that could damage the void intelligence, but those weapons had only been enough to fight it to a standstill. The forge was capable of more, but even the architects hadn't fully understood its potential. That's when James saw it, a pattern in the forge's quantum fields that the architects had missed. Their technology was brilliant, but they'd been limited by their own assumptions about how the universe worked. Human minds, evolved to think differently, were seeing new possibilities. Dr. Chen was right, he announced to the team. We're not supposed to just use their technology. We're supposed to improve it. The Forge isn't just a weapon-making facility. It's a tool for reshaping reality itself. Working with teams back on Earth, they began to modify the Forge's operations. The human capacity for lateral thinking, combined with the architect's technical precision, led to breakthroughs that would have been impossible for either species alone. They weren't just making weapons anymore. They were learning to manipulate the fundamental forces that the void intelligence used to exist. But as they worked, James couldn't shake a growing suspicion. The void intelligence's massive response seemed out of proportion, even for a threat to its existence. Through the neural interface, he delved deeper into the architect's records, looking for something they might have missed. Hidden beneath layers of encryption, he found it. The true purpose of the Guardian Protocol. The architects hadn't just been building a defense system. They'd created a testing ground, a cosmic laboratory where humanity would either evolve into something unprecedented or fail trying. The void intelligence wasn't just trying to stop another civilization from rising. It was trying to prevent the emergence of a new form of consciousness in the universe, one that could exist in higher dimensions, beyond its reach or understanding. The architects had suspected this was possible, but couldn't achieve it themselves. Instead, they had created humanity, a species with the potential to make that evolutionary leap. As the Martian storm began to clear, James watched the first test firing of their modified quantum forge. The beam it produced wasn't just a weapon. It was a key to understanding how consciousness itself could transcend the limitations of physical space. They were learning to fight on the void intelligence's own terrain. But time was running out. The enemy would reach the outer solar system in less than 4 months. Humanity would have to complete an evolution that should have taken thousands of years, and they'd have to do it while fighting for their very existence. The Guardian Protocol wasn't just a defense system. It was a race against time to become something more than human. The United Nations Assembly Hall had never been so crowded. Representatives from every nation on Earth sat shoulder to shoulder, their usual political divisions forgotten in the face of unprecedented events. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the podium, the neural interface glowing softly against her temples as she projected the latest sensor data for all to see. They'll reach Neptune's orbit in 6 weeks, she announced, highlighting the approaching void fleet. But we're no longer facing this threat alone. The holographic display shifted to show new vessels entering the solar system from multiple vectors. Unlike the geometric nightmare shapes of the void intelligence's ships, these crafts showed signs of organic design principles. They were products of other civilizations, other children of the architects. First contact with the Helios Coalition arrived 3 hours ago, Sarah continued, as a new hologram appeared beside her. The alien representative's form was humanoid, but clearly engineered for a different world, its iridescent skin adapted for life under a binary star system. We have watched your progress with great interest. The Helios ambassador's thoughts resonated directly through the neural interfaces now worn by most world leaders. You have achieved in months what took our people centuries to understand. The architects chose well. But not all the arriving ships were friendly. Some belonged to species who had rejected their architect heritage, choosing to serve the void intelligence in exchange for survival. They saw humanity's rapid progress as a threat to the cosmic status quo. Admiral Helena Torres, newly appointed commander of Earth's unified defense forces, stepped forward to present the military situation. The Guardian Protocol isn't just defensive, she explained. Each facility we've activated has given us new capabilities. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for the next step in cosmic evolution. The quantum forge on Mars was now operating at full capacity, producing reality-altering weapons that could damage the void intelligence's ships. The facility in the Mariana Trench had revealed secrets about manipulating gravity itself, leading to advances in propulsion and defense that had transformed human spacecraft design. And the complex in the Atacama Desert had become a consciousness accelerator, helping humans adapt to their rapidly expanding mental capabilities. But it was the latest discovery that had changed everything. Beneath the surface of Europa, they'd found what appeared to be a map, not of physical space, but of consciousness itself. It showed the potential paths of evolution that sentient life could take, and revealed that the void intelligence was more than just a hostile force. It was a cosmic immune response, automatically attacking any form of consciousness that might transcend traditional physical limitations. The architects didn't just give us technology, Sarah explained. They gave us a choice. We can fight the void intelligence on its own terms, or we can become something it can't fight. A form of consciousness it can't even perceive. Through the neural interface, she shared the images she'd seen. Human consciousness evolving beyond the constraints of physical form, learning to exist in dimensions the void intelligence couldn't access. But such an evolution would require more than just technology. It would demand a fundamental shift in how humanity understood itself. The Helios ambassador's thoughts resonated with approval. This is why we have come. Each seeded species has a piece of the puzzle. Together, we can achieve what the architects only dreamed of. But even as the assembly discussed plans for cooperation, new alarms sounded. The void intelligence had detected the gathering of its opponents. Its fleet was accelerating, pushing through space in ways that violated known physics. They didn't have 6 weeks anymore. They had less than 1. All of our preparations, all of our evolution, comes down to this moment, Sarah announced. We're not ready. We're not supposed to be. The architects designed us to achieve our greatest developments under pressure, to innovate when there are no other options. As if in response to her words, the neural interfaces across the assembly began to pulse with new energy. The quantum forge on Mars, the gravity engines in the Mariana Trench, the consciousness accelerator in the Atacama, all were synchronizing in ways their creators had never imagined. Humanity's pattern of thought, their unique way of connecting seemingly unrelated concepts, was creating new possibilities in the architect's technology. They were about to make their final stand, not just as humans, but as the potential future of consciousness itself. And somewhere in the void between stars, an ancient intelligence felt something it had never experienced before. Fear of what it could not understand. The Void Fleet arrived during Earth's longest night. Their ships twisted space itself, appearing simultaneously across the solar system in a display of power meant to overwhelm any resistance. But humanity had been preparing for this moment in ways the void intelligence couldn't comprehend. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the transformed Arctic facility where everything had begun, now the central node of humanity's defense network. Through her neural interface, she could feel the combined consciousness of billions of humans and their alien allies, all connected through the architect's technology, but transformed by human innovation. They're trying to cut us off from the quantum forge on Mars, Admiral Torres reported, her consciousness linked directly to the fleet of hybrid ships humanity had created. These vessels weren't just machines. They were extensions of human consciousness, crewed by minds existing partially in higher dimensions. The Void Intelligence's strategy was familiar. It had used the same tactics to destroy countless civilizations before. But this time was different. This time, its target had evolved beyond predictability. Now, Sarah commanded, initiating the protocol they discovered in the Europa facility. Across the solar system, the architects' facilities activated in a new configuration, one their creators had never imagined. Human creativity had found connections the architects had missed, linking technologies in ways that defied conventional physics. The quantum forge wasn't just creating weapons anymore. It was reshaping the fundamental structure of space around the solar system. The gravity engines weren't just providing propulsion. They were bending reality itself. And the consciousness accelerator had become something entirely new, a gateway to dimensions beyond the void intelligence's reach. Through the neural network, Sarah felt the presence of their alien allies, each species contributing their unique perspectives and abilities. The Helios Coalition's mastery of stellar engineering combined with humanity's quantum innovations. Other species evolved for different environments and ways of thinking, added their own insights to the collective consciousness. But it was humanity's gift, the ability to make intuitive leaps, to connect disparate ideas, to imagine the impossible, that brought everything together. The void intelligence had expected another technological battle. Instead, it faced something unprecedented, a species actively transcending the boundaries of physical existence. "They're attacking the Mars facility," someone reported, but Sarah barely heard the words. She was too focused on the transformation taking place within the collective human consciousness. The neural interfaces weren't just tools anymore. They were catalysts for the evolution the architects had designed humans to achieve. The void intelligence's weapons, designed to destroy physical matter and disrupt conventional consciousness, passed harmlessly through Earth's new defenses. Humanity wasn't fighting back in the traditional sense. They were changing the rules of reality itself. Through the Quantum Forge's enhanced sensors, Sarah watched as the Void Fleet's efforts became increasingly desperate. Their attacks, based on the suppression of higher consciousness, couldn't affect what humanity was becoming. The very thing they had evolved to prevent was happening before them, but in a way they had never anticipated. "We understand now," Sarah broadcast, her thoughts reaching not just her human allies but the void intelligence itself. "You're not our enemy. You're part of the universe's natural evolution, just like us. You maintain balance, prevent premature transcendence, but you can't stop what's meant to be." The transformation accelerated. Across Earth, humans began to understand their true potential, not as conquerors of the cosmos, but as its conscious evolution. The architects hadn't created weapons, they'd created catalysts for universal awakening. The void intelligence recoiled as it finally comprehended what it faced. Humanity wasn't descending alone. They were creating a path for all consciousness to evolve. Even the void intelligence itself could be part of this evolution, if it chose to understand rather than destroy. In the space of a few moments that felt like eternity, humanity proved the architects right, not through victory in battle, but by transcending the very concept of conflict. The void intelligence's fleet hung motionless in space, confronted with a form of existence it had never imagined possible. Sarah felt the change rippling through the cosmos. Other seeded civilizations, watching from afar, began to understand their own potential. The architects' grand experiment hadn't just succeeded. It had exceeded their greatest hopes. "We are not the end of evolution," Sarah shared with the unified consciousness of humanity. "We are its next beginning." The void intelligence's fleet began to withdraw, not in defeat, but in recognition of something beyond its purpose. Humanity had not merely survived. They had shown the universe a new way forward, a path of conscious evolution that transcended the cycles of creation and destruction. In the Arctic facility where their journey began, Sarah watched the northern lights dance across the sky, their patterns now visible in dimensions she had never imagined existed. Humanity had inherited the stars not by conquering them, but by showing them how to grow. The architect's legacy was complete, but humanity's story was just beginning. They had proven themselves worthy not just of survival, but of leading the universe's consciousness towards something greater than their creators had ever dreamed possible.